One tough customer joins us right now, Danny Perez. He's a Republican rep in Miami. He's the future Speaker of the Florida House. He will take office from 2024 to 2026. And Danny, I got to ask you, I was down in Miami before the pandemic, and I was really surprised that like local store owners and Cuban and Latino people were telling me hand over fist that they were so excited about Donald Trump. What does this whole Supreme Court stuff do to the mood down in South Florida for our president?
Yeah, well, one, I'm glad you visited Miami. We'll
Me
welcome
too.
you anytime. But look, I am going to tell you this: when we're talking about the Supreme Court decision and the ramifications that may have on not just this election but on the future of our country, that plays second fiddle to the love fest that the Miami community, specifically the Hispanics, and more so the Cuban population, has with Donald Trump. I mean, it is an absolute infatuation. I think people are trying to understand why. And today, for example, the vice president and the president are both going to be in Miami. And people say, well, they never go to the same city at the same time. Why are they doing that, and why are they doing it in Miami? Because if we really want to get into the details, there's a possibility that the presidential election itself runs right through Miami. If the president can carry the Hispanic vote the way he's doing right now from Miami, and that pushes him to win the state of Florida, now we're in the ball game and looking to a very likely re-election.
Yeah.
So I can tell you this: it's an absolute crush
That's
between
what
the Hispanics and the president.
That's what I think. And to be honest with you, I was down there. I spent a little time over in Wynwood. Spent a little time at a blockchain conference with Mayor Suarez. And even he, obviously in the other party, but even he was talking about how, you know, the traditional family, Latinos, Cubans, they just absolutely love Trump, and the pollsters got it all wrong. Some people are saying, like on the left-wing media, where they try to condition your brain every single day, that it's polling right now that Trump won't do as good with Latinos as he did in the last election. And then, you know, hot damn, Danny, every Latino that I talk to that's a sane, hard-working person is like, no, we love Trump.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Look, let me give you some real numbers just to give you a little bit of perspective. So I represent District 116, which is the heart of Miami. I mean, it's residential, but you know, it's where I grew up. It's where I went to high school. It's where my wife works. I mean, this is the middle of Miami. This is real Miami. This isn't South Beach. And in 2016, the president lost in District 116 in my own backyard. He lost by 3 points. Based on the consistent numbers that I have internally, he's up 11 points.
Wow.
And we're talking about a 14-point swing in the heart of Miami. People are just fed up with the nonsense from the left. These are people that left an island that they were ran out of by socialism, where they had to leave everything behind. Look, Joe Biden, for all intents and purposes, if you look at him at face value, maybe seems like a decent guy. But Kamala Harris ain't fooling anyone in Miami, I'll tell you that. No, and people are looking at that. That was the worst vice presidential pick that Joe Biden could have ever made when it comes to the Hispanic community in Miami. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no, I could think of a million other reasons, but I'm glad to get your boots on the ground sense of things. Also, I don't know if you're seeing this, but, you know, we both know the polls are all a fraud. They're just out there to convince. It's fatigue, right? It's poll fatigue. They want, you know, those middle-of-the-road Trump voters to just say, he's going to lose. I'm not going to vote. They're trying to suppress with a mass message, if you ask me. But some good news that I found out just this morning, actually, that the Republicans are outpacing the Democrats with non-college white folks by 150,000 new registrations in the state of Florida. They're plus 100 on the Democrats in the state of Texas, and they're plus 100 on the Democrats in the state of Pennsylvania. So it looks like what you're saying, your district, he lost last time, and now you got him plus 11. All those new people that are saying, holy crap, I don't know why I didn't vote, and I got to vote now. It's happening all across the country, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, totally. Look, it's the people that haven't voted before that are voting this time. It's the ones that maybe sat out the last election that are not going to sit this one out. And then the truth, some of the loyal leftists have done this to themselves. The Democratic Party, the way that we see it in our eyes as conservatives down here in Miami, is the people that stand behind that leftist policy are the same people that are throwing bricks through business windows. We're a small business community. We have many mom and pop shops. When you see that on TV with people looting and throwing bricks, that's just not going to happen. I'll tell you what. Start looting in District 116. It might be the last day that you're ever going to loot. It's just not going to happen. We just don't have patience for that. And that is what we're seeing. It has taken over the Democratic Party. This is not the Democrat Party from 1990. No, not even close. And even then, I wouldn't have agreed with that party. But this party has just taken that party and made it an absolute extreme. I don't see how the Democratic Party can ever come back from this, to be quite honest.
Danny, you're a regular guy. You came up through the ranks of trying to fight for legislation for working families, child welfare, stability, health care. It's not like you're, some rich elite guy. You're dealing with the regular people down there in your district. And I think personally, I come from a blue-collar family. My father was a New York City cop, right? Regular people who were Democrats their whole life are sitting there saying, wait a minute, I want cops, I want a good economy, I want lower taxes, I want the ability to earn more for my family. And there's even Democrats who are afraid to poll and admit that they like Trump, that they're going to go to the polls and pull the lever for the president.
Let me tell you something. You brought up a great point there at the end. I'm gonna give you a quick story. That is, if you don't remember anything else from this interview, you're going to take this with you, and I promise you, you'll use it again. We recently ran a poll in the state, all right, in a specific district, and based on Republican versus Democrat in the state house, right? That's where I'm a member of the Florida House.
Yep.
And when asking in this seat if you were going to vote for the Republican or the Democrat, it was fairly close. When you're asking for the president versus Joe Biden, the president was underwater significantly. And then the third question was, well, if you have to guess what your neighbor was going to do, who do you think your neighbor is going to vote for? The response to that would have blown your mind. It had Trump up 75-25.
Wow! Wow!
So what does that tell you? It just says, look, there's a real silent majority. It's very, very real. And the absentee ballots that are coming back in favor of the Democrats don't concern me at the least bit. Look, I received an absentee ballot. I'm voting in person. Okay, so that doesn't mean I'm not voting. It just means these individuals are still going to vote. And we saw it in the primary election in Miami-Dade County. In the primary election, absentee ballots, Republicans were down. When it came to early voting and election day, Republicans came out of nowhere and absolutely rolled through the polling precinct. So I think I'm going to expect the same for the presidential election. I'm not concerned with the lack of absentee ballots being returned. Look, if you have it, turn it in. That's what we want you to do. Get the vote in sooner rather than later. But if we're talking what our expectations are for the election coming up, I expect Republicans to turn out in person more than expected.
Danny, thanks so much for this commentary. I am definitely going to use that again because that's great to know. That's like, that's like the asking for a friend. They don't want to say they're for the president, but, oh, my neighbor, he's going for him. You know what I mean? So I think that's happening across the country. Danny, best of luck to you. Hopefully we'll have you back soon. And keep that Miami warm for me till I get there, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See you soon.